Farm for Profit Podcast. Take a listen, have a blast. Farm for Profit Podcast. Learn about farming while having a laugh. Farm for Profit Podcast.
Well, Corey, one of my favorite things to do is a What's Working in Ag segment, and that's what we've got going for us today. And it's that time of year to start thinking about strategic planning, whether it's for farm for profit, it's on your farm, you're thinking about next year's growing crop. Are you going to put together a strategic planning session?
Yeah, we actually have some planned already on our farm. And I tell you what, we got done with harvest like 10 days ago. And I think I've been busier in these last 10 days than we were during harvest because we push everything aside that we need to get done, even though, it's a priority, but harvest is the main priority. And now it's all this planning that we're trying to get done because there's a lot to handle for next year and there's a lot on the line.
Yeah. And when you're doing this planning, are you involving the insights from other peers of yours, a peer group perspective or any type of consultant?
Yeah, I have several consultants, a lot of people on our team. I've probably never physically set up the actual consulting, like the whole meeting of everyone. But yeah, I got way too many phone calls every day between our group and then several of our peers and people that we keep close.
Well, that's good. Well, we're going straight to the top with our guest today for this segment, Matt Ronkin. He's the CEO of Uncommon Farms, and I'm excited to learn more about what they do and about Matt himself. So welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, good morning, guys.
Let's dive in first to what is Matt's background? How'd you get to where you are?
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for having me. I've seen a number of your podcasts, love the energy, love the communication and the conversation, so just happy to be a part of that. So my background, I've been the CEO of Uncommon Farms for about 3 years now. Before that, I was not in agriculture at all. I spent the first 25 years of my career at Nestle Purina Pet Food in St. Louis, and started in business development roles, brand marketing, et cetera, and then moved into more general manager roles. One of my last roles for Purina was to lead the strategic planning group between our brand portfolio and then our retailers. So I know a little bit about strategic planning.
And where are you coming from today?
So we are based just north of Alton, Illinois. So in the St. Louis metro area, but on the Illinois side, and so we're about 30 minutes outside of St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay, nice, that's perfect. And now give us some background as to your role now with Uncommon Farms. What is that company?
Yeah, so Uncommon Farms actually started as a business entity 60 years ago, 60, as a company called Agrisolutions. And the founder's vision or thought was that farmers needed better mastery of their numbers in order to make better business decisions. And obviously back then, no computers, no apps, et cetera, but just a philosophy that farmers were just not, on the whole, good business people when it came to looking at their numbers and then ultimately able to make better decisions. About 25 years ago, that same founder started a concept called the Family Farms Group. And what he saw was that in livestock, there was violent consolidation, and just saw that same dynamic that was eventually going to come in row crop. And so wanted to prepare the farmers to be better business people and to be better masters and have a better skill set in order to run their business, and work on the business, not just in the business. And so the Family Farms Group was started in 1996. I came on as the CEO of the Family Farms Group in 2021. Not having a strong ag background, I spent the first 6 months of my time as CEO on farm with our members and just trying to get an understanding of what were some of their challenges, what were some of their pinch points, what were they doing to better themselves in terms of better business people. And, it was clear to me that to take the common approach to farming was going to end in a not so good way. And that's a little bit of ironic, right? Normally, do the same things and get the same results. The reality of what's changing so much in farming and what has changed forces you to take a different approach. And so I was passionate to change the name of our group to a community of uncommon farms. And the whole premise again behind this is business unusual, not business as usual. So you've got to build that skill set and think about yourself as the CEO of a very dynamic multi-million-dollar operation that has all of the challenges that a corporate CEO has, and not define yourself truly as just a farmer.
Business unusual.
Business.
I wrote that down. I love that.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I was just going through some of our comments on social media this morning, and you had the clip about going to college and how you have to come get some of those skills. And there's a lot of farmers that don't, and that's fine. But it's absolutely hilarious to think of the people that just get up in arms thinking that you don't need some of these skills to be a good farmer. And there's 100 ways to skin this cat, right? A lot. But my gosh, these skills certainly don't hurt it, right?
Well, they don't hurt it, but even then, I think what Matt's company has going for them is you may not have that skill, but you could seek a partner that can help facilitate that skill development, right?
That's right. And so, at our core, we define ourselves as business advisors, growth advisors, and kind of that aggregate, MBA, if you will. And so, farmers are very good at what they do, and so don't get me wrong. The instincts and the quintessential entrepreneurs and have the entrepreneurial mindset and the innovation mindset, et cetera. It's how do you round that out and how do you put it into a framework the same way that a corporate CEO would look at their business. So everything from strategic planning, which is what you all just started talking about. These are family farms, so succession planning is always a big piece of this. Risk management, financial acumen, leadership, HR and people, and all of those where, quite frankly, where would they pick up those skills? And you didn't need those soft skills, especially as much as you do today, a generation ago. And most of the farmers have learned, that their way of doing business from their dad or from their uncle. Maybe they've got a cohort or some kind of network around them that they've learned from. But for the most part, they're doing it through instincts. And so what we can introduce is some framework around that and a guided tour, if you will, a Sherpa tour through that in terms of setting up strategic priorities and plan the work and work the plan.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we need to sign Corey up because everybody knows he's not in good with people.
Right.
Probably why you didn't become the CTO.
That's probably why.
Was your limiting factor.
That's
if you'd been working with Uncommon Farms,
would have been a shoe.
Not too late.
It could have been. But there's more to Uncommon Farms, and I'm excited that we're starting off a partnership that's going to bring more content and value to our listeners. We've talked about that advisory board before, but you guys take it one step further, and you're also facilitating peer groups.
That's right. Yeah. So at our core, like I said, we're business advisors, and we work with each one of our members one-on-one and give them the value that they need. The real value, and so earmuffs to the rest of my organization, doesn't come from the learning that we can provide to them. It's really about building that community. And as you guys know, farming, as a vocation, is a very isolated, job by nature, physically, and but it's also isolated emotionally and mentally, right? And mentor-wise, it's very difficult. Like I said, it's a very myopic relationship between, the generation above you and below and maybe a little bit around you. But to provide a community where there's peer learning, like we've set up, is quite unique. And so we build that in a number of different ways. We do member conferences, we do region meetings, we do what we call Training Tuesdays, which is every other Tuesday. We'll do Zoom calls, and every one of our members can jump on with a speaker or workshop. We've got a member portal that they can tap into, and hey, I'm thinking about getting heavier into the trucking side of the business. Anybody out there have this thing figured out? And amazing, just the robustness of that. The biggest part of our community building is around our peer group program, and so just recognizing that these guys don't have the coffee shop to go to, especially at the size that they are. It's just not. They're going to be in competition, for land or competitive advantage, et cetera. So we've set up a peer group program that has multiple peer groups. We don't put more than 10 or 12 farms into a peer group. And then we slice and dice it just based on the level of complexity that each farm has. So our very largest farms who are, truly GMs, managers of managers, we've got them in a group. We've got our managing directors who are really managers of kind of the line staff. We've got an operational manager group. We've got an agronomy group. We've got a women's peer group for those women that are highly involved in the operation, as a spouse or as a partner, quite frankly. And then one that I'm really excited about that we've had for a couple of years is our emerging leaders peer group, which is, young adults that are from age 16 to 26 that either are thinking about coming back to the farm but don't have a role yet, to those that are in college and then are going to need a role when they come back, or those that are out of college that are starting in a certain role, and then how do they start to build those skills to be able to take on the GM role eventually from their dad.
You're too old.
I don't feel so young.
No longer are you emerging. Yeah, you're either a leader or you're not, I guess.
I'm middle-aged.
Yeah, we'll start that group too.
Why? Yeah, what is that? Middle-age crisis group?
It would be a popular one, I'm sure. Yeah.
So as people work with you, though, this is a feed program, right? Do you see that there's more buy-in when someone financially dedicates resources to this?
Oh, 1,000,000%, 1,000,000%. I mean, and it's, what's cause and what's effect in terms of that relationship. And we've found it's got to be in you, right? So we have a 6-question questionnaire as we're vetting somebody to come into Uncommon Farms. So we vet them as hard as they vet us. And the most important question is, are you willing to invest in your own education, right? Are you willing to give back to the community in order to get something out of it? And so, financial resources is one thing. The biggest barrier is time, as you guys know. I mean, I can't spend time off the farm, I'm too busy, all of those things. And, we flip it around and go, yeah, you have to invest time and resources in order to get better. And so get better before you get bigger.
And is this a buy service? Is it a flat fee? Is it a per acre fee? How does that work?
Yeah, so we've had different models in terms of how we've done that. Think about it as a retainer fee, what we call an access fee. And so they pay an annual fee and get access to all of the resources and have a coach, as I mentioned, a guided tour through all of the work that we do with them. Included in those fees is a certain number of peer group entries. And if they want to add more resources to our peer group program, they can. They have access to all of the other community aspects that we do. And then the last piece of our value proposition is our strategic partner program. And so, as you guys work with partners and that's that transfer of trust. And so a lot of my job in the leadership is just to go out and build relationships. And who's doing cool stuff? Who's doing innovative things? Where are some things that we can bring? A lot of times these aren't large companies. I mean, these are smaller companies that just have a great idea that need liftoff. And so to be able to bring those ideas and have discussion at the peer group level or at the conference level, a few of our guys try it in terms of proof of concept, and then from there it just goes. And so that's another huge piece of our value proposition is to our members, we're bringing them new ideas that they wouldn't find on their own, and then we can be of value to our strategic partners as well.
I think we could do a full episode on conversations like this, but to tease our listeners, I think we got a lot of mileage covered in a very short amount of time. If they want to learn more before we get to a full-length episode, how do they look you guys up?
Yeah, so the best way to find us is uncommonfarms.com. And so the website will tell a lot about just the whole experience of joining Uncommon Farms. We're on Instagram as well, so uncommon_farms, on LinkedIn, on Facebook as well. So, yeah, you can find us, and we'd love to have that conversation.
And then before I let you go, I'm curious about scope. Is this a regional thing? Is it a state thing? Is it United States, worldwide?
Yeah, so we have members in 22 different states. When you add in our financial solutions, we have a number of customers that still use us on that financial solution side. Typically, they're smaller scale. That adds another 6 or 7 states. We're in Canada. We're in 3 different provinces in Canada. For the most part, we concentrate on row crop. They can have livestock. We haven't really branched into ranchers specifically, although it's something that we've talked about. We've got a few clients and members that are permanent crops. So we've got almond producers, potato. I guess potato is not permanent crops. We've got a lettuce farmer down in Yuma. We've got tobacco and cucumbers out in the Carolinas, but for the most part in the Midwest. But this is a universal skill box or skill set that we can teach anybody that's a producer.
Well, I wonder if it's John down there in Yuma.
Yeah, we might.
My friend John. We got a good friend down there that grows lettuce.
Yes.
Yeah. If not, we'd love to talk to him for sure. Yeah.
That's right. Well, again, Matt, this has been our pleasure to have you on and give our listeners a little perspective as to what resources and your experts that you've got on your team are available to them. Again, listeners, go to uncommonfarms.com. And then I look forward to our next conversation because there's a lot of value during this upcoming year that our team and our listeners could get some good perspective from.
100%. Business as usual.
Awesome. Thanks again.